A Rick and Morty video was certainly something I didn't have on the cards, but with how well you guys responded to my last video on the show, like, Jesus Christ, alright, season 6 video, here we are. A little background on that video from last year, in case you missed it. I was mixed. I was beginning to think that maybe Rick and Morty is losing that, I don't know, jazz of its season 2, season 3 days. It was beginning to feel formulaic, but in the worst way possible. Half the episodes last year didn't work for me, yet finished really strong, with a finale that was like, fucking yeah, that rocked. This video and this season, I came in ready to just crack my knuckles and write a where it went wrong video. That's me being honest. I expected to not like this season. Portal gun gone, a new direction. My head thought, Jesus, this is going to be a rough 10 episodes. At least writing the script is going to be a breeze. Holy shit, was I wrong. I'm going to go through episode by episode and run down some of my thoughts and some takes I have, to then finish off with some overall thoughts on the season. To start the season, we got Solar Ricks, which was dealing with the aftermath of the finale last season. We got a very Avengers Endgame-esque meta sequence to open the episode, in which they even point out in a joke.
Morty, I told you to write this down. I don't have a helmet like that Avengers guy did.
Overall, genuinely, it was a good start. It was a funny, out there plot that somehow ties to the previous arcs seamlessly, including Rick Prime and this Jerry, which I can't remember which Earth Morty fucked up to get him in this state. Comment below if you remember which episode that was that Morty ruined Earth to get it this way. I did this premiere episode. It's not as memorable as others, but it was fun. I liked it. Moving on to episode 2, Rick, A Mort Well Lived, which left me worried. I'm not going to go into huge detail every episode, but this one, I just need to say that it seemed like it was like the first sign of, oh, I might need to think about writing a video about this season being mixed. Like, it was just okay. Just, in my eyes, it was the weakest episode by far. Not near the lows of last season, or even the season before that, so by the end it means that the overall lows for the season weren't that bad. Just when you play with such an interesting idea like having a Die Hard episode in Rick and Morty, this interpretation was by far the most by the numbers of options it could have been. With Night Family, I really did feel like Dan Harmon nailed his intentions behind this episode, with that being like a John Carpenter feeling movie type thing. With such a simple premise, execution really matters. This was the season's first of a decent few home runs, less goofy and more of your thinker Rick and Morty episodes. I really feel that the animation surrounding the Night Family was really spooky, and the scene with Rick had me squirming while on my first viewing. And even on my rewatch for this video, I just had to pause because that shit just, it's gross, ew. Dan and Co, solid work, but yuck. Rounding off the first half of the season, I can't even say this name.
Jurassic Mort.
I totally expected it to be a miss. Another 90s parody episode, here we go. What can they add to this formula that's interesting? Oh, legit probably making it the funniest episode of the season. Now by this point, I start to feel the slightly different writing philosophy for the season is starting to become in full effect. It really does begin to flourish in part 2, but I'll get to that later. Though I just feel every episode, even if it's small, feels like it has to be in this order, whether it be the relationship between the Beths during episode 1 onto
Basic Twinstinct,
or the relationship between Rick and Morty themselves. It allows for the humor to also just date better, in a sense of, oh, this is where the characters were at this point during this season. Jurassic Mort excels at this by literally skipping an arc of the Rift in a subversion of expectations that left me in stitches. We finish off part 1 of the season with Rick getting his portal gun back, and Rick as always being very meta to tell us that classic Rick and Morty adventures are on the way. Before I go into part 2, I need a little dedicated section aimed directly at Dan Harmon and the writing crew. You guys might have noticed I skipped 2 episodes. That's because Dan, buddy, you and the other writers have an incest problem. Like, sure, haha, incest can be funny, and one of the best episodes of this season was easily Final D-Smithation, though that and
Basic Twinstinct
both have very heavy instances of incest being major factors of the plot. Just after Rick Dependent Spray, I just thought you guys would have pulled back a little bit on the incest this season, but no, you guys double down, literally by doing double the amount of episodes that includes it. It's sure, it's very bold. I'll just say that while
Basic Twinstinct
was just an okay episode, Final D-Smithation was seriously fun, and even by the end of the episode, it just completely caught me off guard, and fuck, it's just genuinely funny. So far, huge ticks from me. This is absolutely not where I thought I would have my mindset be after 6 episodes out of 10. Now, at this point, it could have still dropped the ball, have some duds, and then the finale lose all momentum going into season 7. But let's have a look at what ended up happening. Okay, what the hell was this episode? Full meta, Jack Rick brings back Storylord and Jesus. Wow, what a sentence. For an episode that harkens back to the train episode in season 4, the episode is a mix between plot and just a standalone episode. It just makes for outright fun. For an episode about writers, the actual writers of the episode really did shine through and do a great job. And this probably would have been my favorite ep of the season if it wasn't for episode 8. Now look, I need some help, guys. I'm not crazy, right? Episode 8, an episode called Analyze Piss
Dumb name.
was a banger. What the actual fuck? This episode, Rick is back to therapy and gets told he needs to change his outlook on challenges that appear in his life. Now, in Rick and Morty fashion, it's monsters, bounty hunters, and imps. 3 minutes into the episode, not only is it seriously funny, but a real-life lesson is being told on screen using Rick's hyperfixation on needing to have things be done his way. His negative outlook on therapy, and his negative outlook on just response to therapy. Like, fuck, I just didn't expect to be this targeted by one of Dan's self-insert episodes. Like, Dan, can you, maybe give me a warning next time? Jesus Christ. There is a much deeper story being told about Rick seeking validation around being proven he is right about shit being horrible and rough. It gives us an actual massive look at Rick that we haven't seen in quite a while, something the next 2 episodes absolutely love to do. The gassing up of this episode doesn't stop here. 12 minutes in, so we're just about halfway at this point, the episode takes a turn. Rick decides to bring a 6-pack to the house of Pissmaster, and the tone just changes. It's raining, the music is ambient and moody, and we see Piss running from the bathroom. Pissmaster has been revealed to have taken his own life. This genuinely had me shocked, no jokes, and to make it even worse, fucking 4 seconds later, his daughter knocks on the door and shows up, and for just at that moment, the emotion started to kick in a Rick and Morty episode. The episode goes on to more lighthearted things as the time goes on, and that's to be expected. Rick wants Pissmaster's family to remember him fondly, so he sets up this plan to have a disastrous public opinion be turned into a tragic hero sacrificing himself. Jerry gets involved, there's some MacGuffins thrown in around, and yet this story stuck with me. My only small gripe is that the ending didn't fully sit with me. I don't think the characterization of Rick was bad here. I think it was quite fine and it makes sense. I just think it was a missed opportunity to have this episode end on a heavy note. I don't have a solution to how to fix what was wrong with it. It's not that type of video. I loved this episode. I just wish the ending stuck a little more. Okay, this is going to be a shorter one.
A Rick in King Mortar's Mort.
I can't pronounce his name, but it was just fine. It was fine. Its best attribute was setting up the finale and its references to the Vat of Acid episode. Other than that, I just won't remember it much. Alright, it's finale time.
Rictional Mortpoons Rickmers Morcation.
The big reveal of the episode was what I was hinting at about it earlier. They have successfully been able to combine plot and standalone episodes. By simply carrying over the trajectory of characters where they left off in the previous episode, even by only carrying some small threads here and there, lead to some of the biggest story reveals of the season and some of the biggest laughs. Rick, for the past episode and a half, has been a robot. As our Rick continues to dive deeper and deeper into finding Rick Prime, we also get a fun side of the plot that is just funny shit about Star Wars. It is so much more low-key compared to last year's finale, which is both good and bad. Not every finale is going to be that epic reveal of plot and twists and turns. It can't be either, or else it's just going to lose its impact. The episode finishes with the promise that next season will begin the hunt on Rick Prime. God damn, this video was so much harder to write about considering 8 of the 10 episodes were at worst just enjoyable. With 2 mid-episodes, it really makes it really hard just to praise 8 episodes for being funny or having a neat premise. I thought considering last year's video did so well and engaged you all so much, I just had to do a follow-up. My question for you is, what did you think of the season? I've seen way less conversation online whether or not this season has been good or not. Be my basis to know what people think. Oh yeah, and make sure to subscribe with the bell notification turned on. I'm releasing an Attack on Titan video within 2 weeks. You better watch it. And don't turn off the video. I'm not done yet. Well, I'm close, but I'm plugging my shit. It's rude. Okay? Well, I'm done anyway. So, see ya.